Welcome to Rhinos and Aliens.
Do you guys think there's a difference between black people and niggas?
No.
Okay, I have to think about this answer because that is so.
I'm only asking because I know some black people who say there's a difference. They say who you're about to talk about are straight. Yeah, not black people.
This is why that word right there is such a troublesome word. Like,
Oh, you don't like the N word even if it's AS?
I just actually I was watching this chat online was actually it stemmed from a clip off of Black and Crew where I don't really know the characters like that. Oh my god. Oh, Charmaine. She was addressing, I can't remember the Latina chick.
I don't know. I don't watch it either.
Okay. So she would often say the word nigger, and then she's like, okay, this is an offensive word to black people. And then her argument was that, okay, Charmaine, you don't know the struggle of black people. You was living elite. You was living in the suburbs. You know, you were rich. And she's like, I hang around a lot of black people. We come from the ghetto. We come from the hood. And it was like, they're like, so you kind of prejudiced with that because you're trying to say what only black people come from the ghetto. Charmaine cannot relate to the black struggle because she doesn't live in the ghetto, but you relate more to it, and you could just spew out the word because you just live around black people.
To me, that's not how it works. To me, the word nigga stems from this slavery. That's where it stems from, being black. It stems from being African American. It stems from being called a nigger. It's not, to me, it's not I don't know, when my friends who aren't black say it, it doesn't bother me per se. Maybe depending on who we're around, I might tell them be careful. Some people do get offended by it. I understand where they're coming from, but I feel like that's not something they'll ever be able to understand because they're not black. So how can I keep faulting them, for that? Right. If I don't like it, I'm just gonna tell them and they better respect that shit. But when people say it, white or black, it just be like, shit, they said it. To me, I don't know, but I feel like that's about being black. Being called a nigger or a nigga, that's it's just about being black. It's not about growing up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Ghetto is ghetto.
Right.
Black is black. Nigga is black.
Right. Right.
Can I say something?
Sure. Yeah.
It is very ignorant whenever anybody, no matter your race, no matter your class, tries to say the ER version is the exact same as the A version.
I think people don't separate them anymore. I think people don't use the word nigger and they just say nigga. So I think because they do that now, it's like...
But any white person that's trying to offend a black person, they're not going to say, you ugly nigga. They're going to say the ER version. When have you ever seen it?
I don't know. You're white, so you're teaching me something. Well, you're not white, I guess, but still.
This is the thing. I've always grown up with black people. And personally, my black people said... And they taught me nigga was the way to depower the ER version. Okay, I know you two are black, but a lot of white people, especially in corporations, say you can't use offensive language. And they say you can't say the N-word. I've always thought, oh yeah, who the fuck is going to say the ER version? Yet they compound the A version and the ER version. So what's pissing me off is the very word that black people used to weaken the ER version, white people are now putting them together, so now black people don't have the power to say either word.
Right.
And we as a culture are not realizing that. That's the thing that's so crazy. And the younger generation of any race is coming up saying, oh, nigga is a bad word. No, it's not. But because society is saying it's a bad word, they're manipulating them of taking away one of the ways black people grew up to make white people not be as empowered as they were.
Right. So we're making racism more prevalent and more of a big deal, like saying nigga versus nigger. I get what you're saying.
There is a difference in historical context, and this is once again why I don't fuck with the Democratic Party, because they manipulate the poor class, they manipulate black people, and if you go around 10 years ago, I put money, at least twice as many black people would say, you're never going to tell me I can't say nigga. And now it's up in the air. Some black people, like, they want to beat your ass for saying nigga, even if another person says that. And that was the very word that took the power away from the ER and the white people. And the white people keep coming back around to finding ways.
It took away the power when a black person said it, because it was like kind of like you telling a fat person she fat, and it's like, oh well, you know I fat but I sexy, you know, that's for her, you know, it's not for you, because you ain't been in that struggle. So
yeah,
it's kind of like you know, like I don't know how to. It's a word to describe that.
Yeah.
But so that's why it's so offensive to most. Some don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, some like, yeah, my friends they say it, and I don't care. But some people really take offense to it, and that's like, you just gotta realize that that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I tell you this? Is there a difference between the ER and Negro? Yes, there is. Negro is the black version of Caucasian.
Right.
So if there's a difference between those two words that sound very similar,
I don't feel like there's a word. I feel like when I think of Negro, I think of Negro spirituals, so I don't see anything wrong with it. I just feel like that's a word.
But technically, you can't say that word in a work environment because it's still the N word.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is ignorance.
It's a good thing I'm my own boss.
Yeah, but I mean,
like
Negro is like, to me, like the scientific version, like the friendly version, and nigga is like the offensive version, like because. That's just the. I mean,
what's the politically correct term?
If you had to say it, is Negro.
That's what you mean. Not scientific, politically correct.
Well, yeah. It's two and the same in this situation.
Yeah.
Oh well, even if nigga, Negro.
It's like this is how I put it. Penis is the correct way to say that organ, right? Or no, I'm gonna use female parts. The correct way is vagina. That's Negro. Mm-hmm. The cool hip way is pussy. That's nigga. And then the offensive is you're a cunt. And that is...
Oh my God.
Any woman who tries to tell me there's a difference between those three female part words, then there's a fucking difference between those three N words.
I agree. Wow, you made perfect sense. And you should quote yourself on that. If you don't find a difference, if you don't see a difference in...
Because it's like a hip thing now, it's okay to say it then. Because, you know, everything society to me, you turn it around to be. So, you know, in every rap song and, you know.
I don't know. I just feel like.
Each other. Hey, nigga, hey,
yeah, I feel like people just going to say what they going to say. But nobody better not come to me calling me a nigger. Or a Negro. I don't like that either.
Right.
It's the intention of the word and why the word was created. That's all I'm trying to say. I think it's just
the context that it's used in.
And a lot of people try to say that they try to use that word to say it's just a word. It shouldn't have been hold so much hurt and anger. You know, it's just a word. But I guess most people can't let go of that. Okay, the pain behind that word. You want us to forget about it, but we can't forget. We can never forget. You know?
I feel like you can never forget, but just because you can never forget doesn't mean you have to display that. You know, emotion. Like, I'm not gonna. Okay, sometimes depending on whose mouth it might be coming from, I might look at you sideways if you say it. But at the end of the day, like, the fuck am I gonna change by being offended instead of getting my shit together?
We should not forget our history, no matter who you are. But if you can't move on, then there's no future.
I get you.
And who controls society overall? Asians, but we don't deal with Asians really, and the fucking Jews. Jews, more than any fucking race / ethnicity, have gone through more shit than anybody. But you know how they moved on? You know how they got into banking and all this shit, and why they dominate any industry? Is because they took the pain of slavery and almost being wiped the fuck out, and they moved on.
And you were going to not say what the fuck you just said? Like, how you going to think of some hot shit and not say it? What's wrong with you?
Well, I was thinking about like this slavery bit, but I feel like a lot of American wokeness is so fake. Like, we talk about, fuck slavery, fuck the white people, yet you go to Africa, where you guys are fucking from, there's more slavery than ever before. There's a crazy stat. As of 2018, there's over 30 million people still enslaved.
Damn.
Over 3/4 of that is in fucking Africa. That's more slavery that ever happened in the slave trade. Yes, because of population, there's different percentages. But still, we're in America bitching about slavery. We can't move on. Yet you're not doing anything to help people in Africa. By the way, the only person that I know of is helping people in Africa is Akon. And we all only talk about his music. And this is why I say the consistency. We have a problem with cunt, but not pussy. But then we try to make the ER and nigga the same thing. It's like, give me fucking consistency.
He's so
I know
powerful.
where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from.
He's so passionate.
It's like, pick a side. You wanna empower it, or you wanna just cry about it, or
Mm-hmm.
And I respect where you're coming from. I'm just saying a lot of people are not as educated as you seem to be, as smart as you seem to be. So when they hear someone like you say something like that, or a lot of more powerful or individuals who have a lot more control of media say the stuff that you're saying, they just hop on board. And it's like, if you're going to hop on board, either know what the fuck you're saying so you could fully support it, or when it comes to different situations, have the same exact opinion or style of thinking. And I can't. It's like a person who says, who's always talking about, like, fuck homos, like a lot of people, but they're low key homo, or a lot of people who talk about whatever, cheating, blah blah blah, and it turns out that they've been cheating on their wife for 10 years.
Yeah.
How can I take you seriously?
If you want to subscribe, just hit this bad boy up here, that big fat rhino. If you want the newest video, to the right. If you want the recommended, to the left. And then, of course, our personal dick pic. Yep, right below. So thank you for joining us once again, and we hope to see you next week. So peace out.
Peace.